And we're on.
All right. Welcome back to the Unpopular Playground. You're back with me, Debbie, and Jennifer. Say hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
What we're going to be talking about today is your transitional survival kit. And what this is, it's a collection of practical items, helpful resources, and life skills, knowledge designed to make your journey into independence smoother. It focuses on the everyday essential needs for your new life, from basic supplies to important documents. What this involves is like basic kitchen tools, manual can opener, spatula, a pot and a pan, a starter set, plates, bowls, cups, and utensils, so you don't have to rely on disposable items and be wasting money, cleaning supplies, a sponge, dish soap, all purpose cleaner, laundry detergent, toilet brush, all this to maintain a clean living area, and basic pantry items such as salt and pepper, peanut butter, that's a staple, non perishable canned foods, and box pasta. Also, we'll need a first aid kit, including bandages, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers, and any necessary prescription medications that you might be taking. You're going to need practical tools and organizations. You'll need basic set with a hammer, screwdriver, pliers, tape measure, and need some screws, some nails, and also you have fireproof and waterproof mini safe to store all your important papers, like copies of
Yeah.
your social security card, bank records and insurance info, emergency cash, and list of important bank account numbers, health and personal care. You also want to keep a list of all your health history, allergies, prescription names, and doctor's contact information. Also, feminine supplies and hand sanitizer, not in the safe, but in your cabinet. You want to have a contact list of emergency contacts, including family members and other trusted adults in case your phone is lost or damaged. You want to teach kids how to create a budget. This is for the parents, and how to stick to it, how to pay bills on time, and understand how to build credit and not abuse it. Show your children how to use the circuit breaker, turn off the main water, and do basic household repairs. And review with them fire safety and personal safety tips. And last but not least, I suggest pack a favorite comfort item to provide the child with emotional security during the stress of moving and being on their own.
I would specifically also add candles um,
Mhm.
to make sure that you have candles when the electricity goes out. Maybe make some videos and things like that of things that I've learned on how you can make your own candles, orange peels. I think I remember seeing something with an orange peel and something you put inside of that. You take the orange out, obviously, but you use the orange peel as like a container and you can make an emergency candle out of that. There's so many different things. You can look them up on YouTube, how to make homemade emergency candles on hand to be able to have that in your thing. And if you live here in California or somewhere that's disaster prone for your area, you'll want what I always do is have like one of those plastic trash cans, and I have like an earthquake kit with clothes and shoes. I always have shoes by my side with hard bottoms so that I can get up and go in a hurry. I always sleep in my pajamas and have a house coat. If I need to in a hurry, I'll be good to go. And my keys in case I need to leave. I always know where my keys are at and put my shoes on, leave in a hurry so that you're safe and you still have what you need, whether you're staying in your house or if you need to leave in a jam.
Very good. I agree. All important things.
I like how you mentioned the safe with
Yeah.
extra cash and extra stuff because I was going to mention that as you were going through your list. I'm thinking, she hasn't mentioned the safe yet. And then there's like, oh, there she goes. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm going to have that
It's
as
one of the things I've always had.
if you do have firearms in your house, make sure that you have those locked up as well, and know that you can get to them quickly if you have an intruder in the house, if you have littles in the house, that you have that locked up to where nobody can have access to it. I would add that as well because some of our listeners may be young families with littles and you don't think about it. And what I would recommend is that you crawl on the floor and try to see things from their perspective on things that they see that could be a danger. Uh, Put the plugs into the plug covers and your cords. You want to have like cord management, maybe tape your cords down, put rugs over top. And whether you have little people or not, even by yourself, because you don't want to be tripping over the rugs, you could put reverse double sided tape on your rugs so they're not slipping.
right?
So you want to have your house set up really safe. And we had gone over safety. So go back to September and listen to those episodes. But these are some things that you do want to have on hand in order to be able to cook food in an emergency, know what you can cook when the electricity's out. And if you don't have these resources on hand that Debbie's talking about, it's gonna be a lot harder for you, and you might well, it'd be intermittent fasting for a long time, whether you like it or not,
You can always eat that jar of peanut butter
and I've gone by peanut butter in a long time.
too.
Just all you need is a spoon.
That's
As a
it.
matter of fact, when you mentioned the bowls, when I first moved out, my grandma, God rest her soul, she was alive and she lived in the Depression era. So she's not really a hoarder because things were so scarce. She saved cool bowls. She saved yogurt things. So the yogurt cups were my cups. That was my set
Uh-huh.
of yogurt cups. And my first set of cereal bowls were cool bowls. She had plastic knives and spoons galore, and I just reused it until they would get really gross. She really taught me the value of being creative with the resources you have. Teaching has taught me to be creative too, because when you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money to spend because you're spending it on bills. Conserve, it's better to get the higher quality of things so that you're not having to go through and consume things. What are your thoughts on that, Debbie?
Oh, I totally agree. And it's funny because look, I'm thinking back when I was first married, we didn't have the money to go out and buy Tupperware and that stuff. That was so expensive back then. So we did the same thing. We had something that came in a bowl like Coolware. We would save the bowls, and my cabinets were stuffed with all those bowls and things that food came. I would use them for leftovers or for cereal or whatever else. And it was like, I remember looking in the cabinet and thinking, oh, someday I'm going to have some nice containers
Yeah.
for leftovers and things like that. And I always used paper plates because I didn't have real dishes and I wasn't going to go out and just buy dishes and then have to go rebuy them or whatever else. But yeah, and then it's funny because lately I've been using Cool Whip for a couple of things and I'll rinse them out and then I'll think, oh, I'm just going to keep them aside in case I want to put some leftovers in there and I don't want to stain my good containers.
Right.
And then I'm thinking back, oh my God, I'm going back to my old days and my old ways. But I'm very frugal. I mean, my husband used to laugh because when I would pack his sandwiches, because he never used any
Yeah.
mustard, mayonnaise, or anything like that. So I tell him now, when you finish your sandwich, bring the tinfoil home because I can reuse it tomorrow.
Mom made us do that too.
But I also, it was because I was very conscious about the environment. And I thought, why am I going to throw tinfoil away every day? And Ziploc baggies, if there wasn't anything in it that was going to be like bacteria ridden,
Messy.
I would wash them out and stuff. And people would think I'm crazy. It's like, what are you nuts? And
I I do that too, Debbie, so you're not crazy.
back then I was doing it for the environment. It was like all this stuff going in the dumps and in the river because you'd see in New York the big barges that would go out with all the trash,
Yeah.
dump it in the ocean. I'm thinking like, oh my God, all the fish and stuff and all this stuff is in the ocean. So I did it for that purpose, but it was also like, what a waste. We spend all
Exactly.
that in tinfoil,
And you're
throwing
using it once
away.
and they're not dirty, so
No.
why not? And I mean, there might be something I'll use for food, but it's like, let's say a baggie for potato chips. Well,
Right.
I can just rinse that
Yeah.
out and then I can use it for pencils or to hold
Yeah.
something else. Or if I don't want this to be lost, so I can pop that in there
Another
because I don't want it to be lost in my bag. But these are ways of saving money. I don't care if I was a millionaire, I would still
yes.
do all of these things with money because that's how you keep your money. I don't think it's a thing of being ridiculous. I mean,
No.
obviously, if it's really dirty and stuff, I'm not crazy
No.
that way. If something is not damaged, why are you going to just throw it away? It can be reused. Even like you were saying with the plates, like those shiny Glad plates that are a little
Yeah.
bit more sturdy and they're
Yeah.
shiny. I'll rewash those and use
Oh,
those. Those can be reused if they don't have anything on. I just use it to put a sandwich on. So there's just so many different ways that you can conserve without being ridiculous and hold on to your money a little bit longer. Money that you're saving, you can use it to get the pretty things that you want.
yeah.
Another way, like, you mentioned Tupperware. A lot of times I would get involved and do those Tupperware parties because people would come and they would buy the Tupperware and you get free stuff when they
Exactly.
buy. So that's another way that you can do it. There's so many different little hacks that you can do to get free things. Your friends are happy because they
Right.
get new stuff. They have an excuse and you're meeting and having fun together, and you get a few free things yourself. I did it when
Exactly.
I was teaching. They had the Scholastic, so I passed out those little flyers. All the kids bought stuff, and I got free stuff from my classroom. You do the research on some things, there's going to be somebody that you can benefit from, and it's like a mutual benefit. So everybody wins. But
I agree.
always look out for things like that. And
I,
as things progress, we'll try and find those resources for you.
I totally agree.
Harness all of this in either an infographic or maybe a little pamphlet book so that you can have it handy and be able to have these things. When I go to the store, what do I need? What are some basics that I need in my pantry? What are some basics that I
Yeah.
need for these things? Put our heads together to make it much easier for you. So when you go out to get those things, you can have your little reference on hand, make sure not to miss out. And you can even add your own. I think that is it for this
On
episode.
that we note, I think we've covered quite a bit. Anybody going out on their own for the first time off of this podcast, a good start on what they would need for personal health and for the home. I think we've done justice by them and getting them started off on the right foot. Go back to this podcast when you go out on your own,
Review it.
revert to it, and go by some of the things that we have suggested. You should be fine.
We should have it in the transcripts too that you should
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to look. I'll try and make sure of that. If they're not there, I will eventually go back and put them all there, make sure that the transcripts are in there so that you can easily see in writing as well. On that note, we bid you till the next episode, which will be on your glow up with community resources. That'll be our next episode. Have a great day. Have a great week and stay
Great.
curious.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.